had what can only be described as a clown behind me. And even though, well, I think because I've got L plates on this bike, of course I have, that's a legal requirement for me at this precise moment in time. They were riding my back wheel like their lives depended on it. So I was, like my life depended on it, I was keeping an eye on them because my life did depend on it because they were close. And I don't understand that, right? You see it all the time, like driving schools. They've got all these L plates and, keep your distance, learn a driver and all that. And people are riding their back, their back bonnet. Sorry, the back of their car, the boot, that's the word. And you just think, man, you don't know how far along that learner is. Like, they might actually be a really good learner and you might get lucky that they're nearing test or something and, can deal with what you're doing. But then you might get someone who's only had like a handful of lessons and they're just driving home from the practice area for the first time, and you're giving them, you're right up behind them and you're giving them anxiety, and they're going to start stalling it, and the windscreen wipers are going to be flapping even though it's not raining, and they'll be indicating left and right, the hazards will be on, the horns going off. Somehow they managed to set the alarm off. I don't know, just making it up now. But yeah, I don't understand it. I don't understand why you would see an L plate and go, right, let's get as close to that as we can. To me, that's like it's a red flag for me. I'm like, oh, keep away from them. There's a chance they don't know what they're doing. And I don't say that to be disrespectful in any way. I mean, I've got an L plate on myself, and I'm training to be a driving instructor as well. So, I'm not saying that driving instructors are bad or anything like that. I'm just saying you don't know, and you don't know how good the instructor is either. If you're behind them, you can't see what badge they've got in their front window. If they've got a green badge, you don't know how long they've had it. They could have only got it this morning. It could have come in the post. This could be, they're doing this lesson with their nephew or their niece or whatever, to get themselves going. But if they've got a pink badge in the front window, that means they're a trainee. And again, they could have just literally just started today, and they might not be very good at this point. If they've just started for the first time, they've got the first learner on their first lesson, and you're right up behind them, I don't know, man. You're playing Russian roulette. I'd like to say that I think all instructors, if they've got to the point that they can have any colour badge, that they'll be good. But, I ain't risking it. I've heard stories, thankfully from a long time ago, from people that are older than me, saying that they had an instructor that would have a nap during their lesson. Legitimately, I've been told this by a few people, all older than me, learnt to drive, when I was still a kid, sort of thing. But yeah, they've said, I had an old boy who was, probably in his 60s, 70s, whatever, and he would tell me where we needed to end up, and he would have a nap. Now, that's not an instructor that's on the ball, ladies and gentlemen, as you can imagine. So I guess that's what I'm kind of trying to say, is just, be careful. And, and also, I'm saying that from the point of view of yourself and, keeping yourself safe, but also, keeping the learner safe. I think it's important to realise that, I mean, I don't know about you, but when I was learning to drive, man, I hated it. Which sounds crazy when I've just told you I'm training to be a driving instructor, right? But when I was 17, I had no interest, and I mean no interest in driving a car. I had a little moped at the time, and I didn't like that neither. This is genuinely true for someone who now loves riding a motorcycle. Well, it's only a 125, but whatever. Yeah, I had no interest in learning to drive. My mum had to sort of say to me, how are you gonna get around? I'm not gonna take you to work for the rest of your life. I'm not gonna take you, if you want to go and see your friends or whatever. I'm not gonna take you for the rest of your life. You're gonna have to be able to get yourself around. So what you can do, get the bus. I was like, oh, I ain't getting on the bus. You know what it's like when you're a teenager. Now would be in the slightest bit bothered. Get the bus, yeah, all right, no worries. But then I was like, oh, I ain't getting the bus. Why can't you just take me? Imagine that now. Late 30s, ringing up, Mum, I want to go down the pub with John. Who's John? I don't know. Well, for one, their mum don't live around here no more anyway. So she's got an hour and 15 drive just to get here to take me to the pub. And then an hour and 15 drive back. I don't think she's going to do it, to be fair. So learning to drive anyway, as I was saying before I went off on a tangent, ended up being probably the best thing I've ever done in my life because it then opened the door. Because as I got to the end of my journey, I started to realise actually, I think I want to be a driving instructor. I really liked my driving instructor. I don't know for a fact, but I've heard that he has since passed away. And actually, not long after I passed, I heard that. And it was probably the stress of teaching me because I am stupid. Oh, hello, what's going on up here? What's going on up here? What does the red lights mean? No idea. What was I saying? Yeah, yeah. So I heard he passed away, which I've never been able to verify, but it's you know he had a little girl as well, so it'd be a shame for her because she was only, God, she was really young. She was probably only about 4 or 5. So at most she would have been what, 7 if he passed away a couple of years after I passed. But like I said, I don't have you know hard evidence on that or anything. I just know people who I said, yeah, go. They want to learn to drive. I said, yeah, go with him, and they've phoned, and that's what a few people independently have come back and told me. But I was never confident enough to give the number a call and speak to his wife or anything like that because it's a difficult thing, isn't it? Because this is how long ago I passed as well. Although he had a mobile phone, the phone number on his car was his house number, his house phone number. I don't even have a house phone in my house. But yeah, it's crazy to think that I mean, it took me over a year to pass my test as well. So when people go to their instructors and say, "Oh, I should pass my test within 10 lessons," and I'm just like, "Well, I can tell you now, it took me over a year." I mean, I don't tell them that I had zero interest in the situation at that time, but I do tell them, and I tell them that I failed it. I failed the normal test 4 times, and I'll just be honest. It's like, yeah, well, it weren't really for me, and then I've started to get into it, and then the test itself, I struggle with nerves really bad anyway, like really bad. Oh man, this was a bad way to go. This